Today is Wednesday, Parashat Shelach Lecha. We are learning now in the synagogue the halachot that have to do with the sanctity of the Bet Knesset, the sanctity of the synagogue. And I felt it would be important to share this halacha also in this daily Torah tube that we do every day. The Shulchan Aruch says, Bate Kenesiot, synagogues, Ubate Midrashot, and places of learning Torah. אין נוהגים בהם קלות ראש, כגון צחוק ועיתול ושיחה בטלה. We're not allowed to be disrespectful to the place of the synagogue by involving ourselves in the synagogue, whether in terms of joking around, or levity, or שיחה בטלה, or idle talk. And the Mishnah Brura explains talk that has to do whether it's with business, or with earning a living, or idle talk. He says that the Zohar HaKadosh speaks in a very, very strict manner about anybody who speaks idle talk in the synagogue. And for sure, worse than that would be Lashon Hara, or Rechilut, or talebearing, or machloket, or conflict. You have to be very careful once you're inside the synagogue of what you speak about. Now, we're not talking here in the middle of the prayer. If prayer is taking place or the Torah is being read, it's for sure a person is not allowed to be involved in a conversation with the person next to him. But here, the halacha in the Shulchan Aruch says, even just being in the synagogue, not when the prayer is taking place, you have to be very careful what you're speaking about inside the synagogue. Prayer, yes. Limud Torah, yes. Things that are necessary for a mitzvah, yes. But to be involved in idle talk and speak about things that are just mundane, it is forbidden to do in the synagogue. So careful we have to be with the honor and the respect of the place of prayer, because the Bet Knesset is like a Bet HaMikdash. It's a Mikdash Me'at. And the same way we have to be very careful when a person went into Bet HaMikdash, how he acted there. To some extent, we have to be just as careful also in the synagogue. And this is something to be taken to heart. Sometimes we feel so comfortable in a place of prayer because we come here regularly. This is where we meet sometimes people who haven't seen. Somebody came on Shabbat and come during the week. He hasn't seen people for the whole week. He wants to catch up with whatever discussion, whatever subject at hand. A person should refrain from speaking in the synagogue during the prayer for sure, during the reading of the Torah, and not just that. This halacha is very clear. Even just if you're in the synagogue without any prayer going on, you have to be careful not to speak mundane talk, not to speak idle talk. And the more we respect the synagogue, the more we're careful about how we give honor to Hashem and to the Shekhinah and to the place of prayer, the more blessings we can get for us, for the people of our family, and for the community. The community has to be very alert to this subject, and we have to correct people who are not observing these laws, but also we have to be careful to do it beno'am. Beno'am in a way that is pleasant, not in an affront, not in a way that embarrasses people, but we do have an obligation to correct and to tell people to refrain from speaking idle talk in the synagogue, and surely during the prayers to be sensitive to this issue. Not only is it something that for the person himself who is involved in that is not good, but it also interferes with the concentration of other people in the synagogue. And it's a mitzvah. The more we observe the mitzvot, the more we win, the more we are blessed, the more we do the will of Hashem. And the sanctity of the synagogue is definitely one mitzvah to be very careful with. There are many psukim that indicate that when you come in the synagogue, you should feel a sense, there should be a sense or a feeling of awe, of even trepidation to some extent, that we should feel respect for the place. And there are other laws that are involved here, not to eat, not to drink in the synagogue. I've seen sometimes people walking with a cup of coffee or, with a glass of wine or whatever it is. You don't do that in the synagogue. There are certain exceptions of when you're allowed in terms of Seudat Mitzvah that is taking place in the synagogue, when it would be permissible, but definitely not to just feel comfortable walking into a synagogue, drinking or eating, and any other activity that would be disrespectful in any way should not be done within the walls of the synagogue or the Bet Midrash. Baruch Adonai le'olam, Amen ve'amen.